Today we're going to show you how to make this awesome photography background from stuff you can get from your local hardware store, on the cheap. Alright, you're going to need some cardboard, a drop cloth, a stencil, masking tape, something to cover your face with, some spray paint, a box cutter, and scissors. Alright, first we're going to cut the stencil out. Be sure not to get too close to the actual stencil part. Alright, so we started out using some cardboard, but we really should have used some cardstock. So while we go look for some, here is something shiny. Alright, now that we tracked down some cardstock, we're going to trace out the edge of the stencil. And now we're going to cut a hole in the cardstock the shape of the stencil, and try to get it as close as possible. Now we are going to tape the edge of the stencil, making sure that there isn't any space so that the spray paint can bleed through. We want to be sure that we get it firmly pressed down so that that doesn't happen. Make sure to do both sides. Now, I didn't have a cardboard box handy, so I'm just going to make one on my own. And I'm going to do that by attaching paper to all sides of the stencil. Alright, so I cut my corners at a 45-degree angle so that my box would fit together correctly. Now we're going to fold our sides together so that we can create a box so that when we go and spray paint the actual drop cloth, we won't get the overage of the spray paint. Now, if we had an actual cardboard box, we would just be able to cut the bottom out and attach the stencil to the inside with tape. If you do choose to do this method, be sure that you put tape over the corners so that the paint cannot escape. Now you're going to pick a big clean area to lay out your drop cloth and be sure that you get all the wrinkles out. Now, when you are choosing your drop cloth, be sure that you pick something that is a heavy cotton so that the spray paint will not eat through the material. I also use some boards to hold down the ends of the drop cloth so that they don't get blown away by the wind. And whatever you do, do not wear shoes on the drop cloth because it will ruin it. Alright, now I use the seam in the middle of the drop cloth as a guideline so that my pattern will turn out straight. Be sure you do this in a well-ventilated area. Now we're going to go ahead and spray the stencil, and we're going to eventually end up staggering the pattern. And you're going to do this about a couple hundred times. It does help if you have a helper so that you guys can alternate between spraying and moving the box. You may need to clean the bottom of the stencil with a hot, wet paper towel because the stencil will pick up lint from the drop cloth as you go, and you'll have to do this several times. If you like this project or have one in mind you'd like to see us make, go to Rian.tv or comment below. Also, if you want to keep up on our newest episodes, click the subscribe button.